Hello everyone, this is Surya and welcome to Be a Geek. In today's video, we are going to solve the second part of Java loops. So let's get started. We use the integer a, b and n to create the following series. So this is our series. We are given q queries in the form of a, b and n. For each query, print the series corresponding to the given a, b and n values as a single line of n space separated integers. After that, we have our input format. The first line contains an integer q denoting the number of queries. Each line I in the queue, subsequent lines contain three space separated integers describing the respective ai, bi and ni values of that queue. Now we have constraints. The maximum value of q can be 500 and the maximum value of a and b can be 50 and the maximum value of n can be 15. Now let's see what is our output format. For each query, print the corresponding series on a new line. Each series must be printed in order as a single line of n space separated integer. And after that, we have our sample input. First we're gonna have 2. So number 2 denotes the number of queries. So we're gonna have two queries where first is A, second is B, and third is N. So here 0 to 10 means A is equals to 0, B is equals to 2, and N is equals to 10. After that, our output is something like this. So let's see the explanation. From there, we will get to know what is our actual problem and how we can solve that. Let's say this is S1, this is our S2, and after that we have some series. So for S1, we have A plus 2 to the power 0 means S1. Here 1 is N. 1 minus 1, 0 dot B. Now for S2, if you see that S2 has the value of S1 and we are adding this. So our value of S2 will become S2 is equals to S1 plus 2 to the power n minus 1 means 2 minus 1, 2 to the power 1 dot b, and after that we will have the series like that. Let's go to our code editor and try to find out how we can solve this problem. So basically first we try to find out the series, the value which we can use into our loop. So this is the code from my last video. Okay, let me remove it and then we will look into it. So basically now here we have a scanner and then we have to take it into queue. So we have a class by the name solution, we have a main function, we have a scanner, and we are taking input as integer into our variable queue because queue is the number of queries there. Now we have to take our series as input. So basically the first loops come from there because we have to take these values as input number of queue times. Means this process can go up to 500 times. Means we are gonna repeat this process of taking input, so we can use loop there. So how we can do that? So let's say I have an integer I which is initialized to 0. Let's say let me initialize this to 1 for better understanding, and this loop will take input q times. So the value of I should be less than is equals to q, and I will increase the value of I one by one. So basically here what is happening, I have an integer I and I am increasing the value of I q times. Means I can take input in this for loop q times, which I want to do that. So let's create our variables. So there will be our three variable a, b and n. So int a is equals to sc dot next int, same for b and same for n, and after that we have to print our values. Now for every series we have to calculate this n times. Means there my value of n is 10, so I have to calculate it n times. Here the value of n is 5, so I have to calculate this 5 times. Now the main part of this problem comes how I can create, how I can make this, how I can make this series. So this is the main question. So now I have to create another loop for the value n, and the value inside that loop can be used as power. Let's see how. Let me create a loop. Uh, let's say I have an integer j is equals to 0, and this loop should run n times, means j is less than n, and the value of j will increase one by one. And after that I will have a bracket, so inside this bracket I can run my loop. Now let's create our series. So for my series I have a, and after that I have a plus 2 to the power 0 multiply by b. Let's say this is s1, this is s1. Now for s2, my s2 will be s1 plus 2 to the power multiply by b. Now for s3, my s3 will be s2 plus 2 to the power 2 multiply by b. So this is going to be my series, and I will do it n times. And if you see this loop, the initial value of j is 0. So how I can convert this series into loop? So a plus 2 to the power j multiply by b, and after that s s1 plus this value, and then s2 plus this value. Initially my j is equals to 0, so the value of j is 0, and after that, after the first increment, the value of j will be 1. So here I have 1, so I can replace it with j, and after that the value of j will be 2, so I can replace it with 2. So this will be my series. Now the point comes, the value of s1 and s2. How these values come? Okay, so the S1 is the previous value of my computation. So I can store this, and I have to print this value. So I will print S1. So I have to store the value of S1, and after that I will compute this. So this is the main issue. How we can do that? How we can store the value of S1? In the last video we learned about the scope, little bit about the scopes, how scope work. So here the scope of Q is main function. I can use it inside anywhere of the main function. The scope of I is inside this for loop. I can use I inside this wherever I want to use that. Same A, B and N. The scope of A, B, N is inside this. I can use anywhere I want to do that. Similarly, I will create an integer basically with name sum, and I will initialize it with A. Now why? Why I'm initializing sum is equals to A? Let's understand this. Let's say my sum is A. In S1, I replace A with sum. Now, after this computation, I will replace the value of S1 with sum. Now my S1 is sum. So what I can do? I have to replace this also. Now my S1 is sum, so I have to replace this, and the value of this computation I will store into S2. And similarly, S2 will be replaced with this, and I will store the value of this computation into S3. So this process will go on again and again. So this is a loop. And from there, if you see this, we successfully created a iteration where the value of j will increase and the rest values, the value of sum, will change according to this computation. Now let's try to put this inside our loop. So here sum will be sum plus 2 to the power j multiply by b. So this is gonna be my statement. But in Java, we cannot directly use this for power. We have a library by the name math. We have to use that library to get out the power. We can write this like math dot power 2 to the power j. So this will be my statement, and the power will return a double. As you can see, the implementation power will return a double, so we have to convert it into an integer. So we have to typecast it. For typecasting, I will directly put integer before my expression, and from there I will get the integer. And as you can see there, okay, let me put it in my expression so that we can understand this easily. So this is our loop, and we have to print this also, the value of sum. So for that we will use sout, and our print format is sum space other values. So we will print sum, and after that we're gonna have a space there. So this is our final statement. And as you can see, for every query we have to change our line. So after the completion of this for loop, we can print a new line. So that will work for us, and I think we are good to go. This is our final code. Okay, maybe this can be look like something difficult to understand, but if you want to actually understand this, you can take a pen and paper and do this kind of stuff to understand this. Let me try to also explain it one more time. Initially, we took the integer from the user queue for queries. For every query, we took input of a, b, and n, and then we will run another loop n times to get the series which we want. Here, what we did, we create an integer s and initialize with value a, because according to this expression which we did to generate our loop, we need a variable which we can use again and again. And as you can see there, we are using sum for that. So now on the first step, what happened? Now let's take an example, actual example. Let's say we have these values 5, 3, 5. So the value of A is 5, value of B is 3, and the value of N is 5. Okay, so from there my value of sum will be 5, and after that, let's say there I have 5, the value of J is equals to 0. Okay, now the sum is equals to 5 plus 2 to the power 0, because the value of j is equals to 0. If the power of something is 0, then we will get 1. 1 multiply b means 3. 1 multiply 3 is equals to 8. Now the first value of sum is 8, and we have 8 there. After that, we will print the value of sum 8, and then, okay, let me do it like this. In the second iteration, now our j is equals to 1, and our sum is 8. So let me put it 8 there, and 2 to the power j means 2 to the power 1. It's become 2, and 3 to the 6 plus 8 is equals to 14. So the next value is 14. So it will become like this, and now j is 2, sum is 14, and 2 to the power 2, because j is equals to 2, so it will become 4. 4 3 is 12. 12 plus 14 is equals to 26. Okay, so it is 26, and the loop will go on, and we will get this. Okay, okay, let me compile this and see the actual code there, how this is working. Let's first compile this and then run this. Okay, so I want to run this query only one time. So let me put the value of q is equals to 1, and then I'm gonna have 5 3 5. It is 5 3 and 5. Okay, so I am getting 8 4 26 50 98. 8 14 26 50 98, which is correct, but the issue is we have to get it space separated, and for that I have to fix this. Earlier I am using println, which change the line, but I don't want to change line, so I'm using print. Let's do it again. Okay, 1 enter 5 3 5, and this is our final output, which is matching with this. Okay, so now from there, what we're gonna do, just copy this and put it over there and run your code. Uh, okay, our expected output is this, but we are getting a new line after that. So how we can solve this problem? We have println and then backslash n. So println itself only changing our line, and backslash n is also changing line. So we are changing line two times. So what we can do, either we can use print, or either we can use println but without backslash n. So both will work, and using that we can submit our code. Okay, so this is our final output, and I think we are good to go with this. Now if you want to copy this code, you can directly go to the description. There will be a link of the website. From there you can copy your code. You can directly copy this and then paste it over there. That will be a cleaner code for you, and you can just submit this code, and from there you will good to go. And in the next video, what we're gonna do, we're gonna learn something more about Java data types, because in the past videos we use multiple data type, integer, string, and double. So we have to learn about them also. So for this question we are done, so let's meet into the next video. Till then, thank you and bye bye.